Thanks to Beelink for sending this out for review.
So this is the Beelink EQR6 and it's a mini PC. I've been wanting to try one of these mini PCs for some time now. Beelink have a full range of mini PCs, and this one, the EQ range, stands essentially for their quietest range. I actually can't quite believe the specifications you get at this price. This is one of the reasons why they're so attractive to me. So I have the AMD Ryzen 5 6600H processor, and the memory is 24 gigabytes, and that's quite unusual. So it's 2 sticks of 12 gigabytes of RAM, and it's got a 500 gigabytes M2 SSD slot. And that setup costs you £281. I mean, it's a bit insane. And what I'm going to do in this video, I'm just going to go ahead and get it unboxed, get it set up, and have a little benchmark of it essentially. Then as usual, I'll live with it for a bit and tell you what I really think of it. During the system boot process, if you can't log off, turn off Wi-Fi and LAN. They haven't insisted I do anything in this review, but they did want me to highlight just a couple of things, which is the memory configuration, and also that it's quiet enough for a quiet office space, and that the 24 gigabytes is a good option if you want to save a little bit of money. You want a little bit better than the standard sort of 16 gigabytes, and you don't want to go as high as the 32. They're talking about it being super quiet, as low as 32 decibels, less than a library, just above a whisper, they say, and certainly a lot lower than your average blue switch keyboard. It's got quite a lot of I/O, so we've got a USB-C on the front, USB-A on the front as well, and a headphone jack, as you'd expect. Kettle lead, dual LAN, so that you can have an internal network and your external network as well. So again, that could be useful to you in an office environment. 3 more USBs on the back there, and 2 HDMIs as well. They talked about this, they call MSC 2.0 cooling system, air intake from the bottom, and then you've got your radiator at the top here where the heat should come out. Dual circuit board design prevents the transfer of heat to USB devices to stop them overheating. So elements heating up is one of the bottlenecks that you get with all PCs. Looks cool, right, so let's go ahead and get it set up. What else do we get in the box? Power supply, UK power supply, thank you very much, and an HDMI lead. And yeah, the price is stupendous. Oh, and also they make room for 2 M2 SSDs. So you've got 500 gigabytes on board there, but you can expand that with another M2 SSD. So that's super fast storage, really useful. Let's get it set up. So I've got my peripheries set up. I'm just gonna have a bit of fun getting it going for the first time run. I've got an e-ink monitor and I've got an LCD monitor as well. So we'll see how it runs with those two together. Don't worry, this isn't going to be a permanent setup. I'm just using the space to try it out today. I kind of fancy putting it on my second desk and leaving it there, but it might also become a sort of media PC and leave it in my front room. I think you know what setting up a PC looks like. Okay, no issues there. That was really speedy, to be honest. It's all set up and logged in. All the security things have been done. So now to install Chrome and watch it tell me that I don't need Chrome. Search for Chrome while you want Edge. I'm not even going to be able to search anything until I've signed into Edge. So I'm going to run a benchmark, and then if you want to let me know what other tests you want me to do, I'm going to run this computer for a little while, of course. Have a bit of fun with it. And Windows on e-ink is a good time. It looks really good. And in this space, the e-ink monitor looks better than the LCD one. They hate you to install Chrome. I know, you're going to tell me there's some far better browsers than Chrome anyway. So tell me what they are and I'll try them out. Keyboard, if you're interested, this is the Epomaker. This is the TH80. Really nice bit of thok to it. So I'll run the same thing here, and I'll run the same thing on my laptop and my desktop as well, and just see how that goes. So Office install, nice and easy there as well, and Geekbench 6 is running. So it's a 6600H Ryzen 5 processor, so it's 6 cores with a base frequency of 3.3 gigahertz and the max frequency of 4.5 gigahertz, so it's pretty good really. 12 threads, so they're hyper-threaded cores. 24 gigs of RAM is showing, yep, absolutely fine. And it's getting similar scores around that 2000 mark. So for comparison, 2500 is a Intel Core i7 12th generation to run its CPU benchmark now as well. There it is, GPU, sorry. Amazingly, the single core score on the MSI is just 1,668, but the multi-core score is slightly better, but around the same thing. Now that I wasn't expecting. So this is a £300 machine, which is sort of getting performance more than my 6-month-old Intel. This has got 16 cores. I wonder if it's not accessing them all correctly. Yeah, the 155H seems to get really varied scores actually. So we get 2,500-ish there, 1,700-ish there. Yeah, but mine is on the lower end of that. So I wonder what's going on there. There it is, similar. An Asus computer, Vivobook, getting a 1,300 score as well. Isn't that odd? Whereas all the 6,600 from AMD, they just seem to be pretty in line with one another. GPU score, of course, though, just blows it away. 65,933, so that's nuts. My desktop is a Core i9, I think it's a 9000 series, and it's quite an old GPU, 1060, I believe, so we'll see how that stacks up as well. Yeah, so the CPU score, certainly, this little Ryzen 5 actually knocks spots, and single core, it's better than all of the other two. It's just beaten by the much more modern Core Ultra 7 in its multi-core. 7,820 plays 7,637. But the i9, it's a 9,900K. So that is a good few generations old, 6 years old now. That single core was just 1,442 and the multi-core just 6,300. And then the graphics performance for the i9, 33,930. That is quite a difference. That probably tells me it's time for an upgrade to the desktop. Of course, it's not got quite the peripheries and everything like that. And yes, the actual dedicated GPU is still beating the GPU of the little mini PC, but the fact that you can get that mini PC for around about £300 and it's got performance to rival those two machines is pretty darn impressive, I must say. Okay, that's it for now. Let me know what you want me to test. I think I probably will have a go at video editing on it because it's quite impressive little scores for something so small. And yeah, if you need a PC to do day-to-day tasks, obviously I've downloaded Word on it now, all the Office things. So it's got 2 slots for the M2 SSD, so you can have quite large storage. You can put up to 4 terabytes on both slots. So you could have an 8 terabyte actual fast storage machine here, and it would fly through tasks, I'm sure. And have you heard it once? I haven't. It's not got hot at all either. Yeah, I really like this, and I've set this up as a kind of semi-permanent e-ink typing station here on the standing desk. And actually, if you've had a response from me on YouTube recently, it's probably been from this desk on this great little Epomaker keyboard here. It's really good. This is the Shadow S. Yeah, it's a good time, and e-ink is really nice on the eyes when you're typing. This is the Dassault Paperlike 13.3, which is perfectly acceptable. Although I think e-ink can do better now in terms of ghosting performance, but it's still a really nice use case for this incredible quiet little PC. It's not quite fanless, but it is incredibly quiet, and I can't hear it now at all. Certainly when you compare it to the noise from my desktop PC in this room. So I would certainly recommend it for your office space or for productivity apps. But now it's time to really give it a push, because I was quite surprised at how well it did in those benchmarks. So I'm actually going to open it up in the next video and fit it with a second larger SSD, and then I'm going to even do some video editing on it. So wish me luck. I have used it for editing photos, obviously with an LCD monitor, and I did then use it to display those same photos up in the living room on the 4K TV. So it's worked really well in that kind of way, and because it's so small, it's easy just to take out and rig somewhere else. So I'll be capturing some of the internals in the next video as well, and yeah, let me know any questions. It's time to give this thing a push.